This I wanna nail sports to the bone. Top blogger, top YouTube channel. No matter which sports, here we got it covered. Subscribe and hit the notification bell.
What's up, my wonderful peeps? Sports to the bone here again, man. Shout out to all the viewers, subscribers, and the followers. Big up on yourself. Alright, my viewers and subscribers. So this video is just a reasoning that I want to have with my cricket loving fans in. But before we go any further, just gonna ask you to get the golden rule out of the way, which is to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and drop a comment. So the West Indies Rising Stars, they recently toured England and they lost the 6-match series 4-2, I think it was. But I'm sure, there was much knowledge gained. Because we have to remember that, most of these players, they were actually going overseas or touring for the first time. They were considered to be outstanding in their country or in the Caribbean region here. But having to go overseas in total different conditions is a whole different ball game. So even though they lost the series, we do understand. And, we saw some amount of fight, which is all we usually ask for. We want our players to be successful, yes, but going into new conditions, it's sort of a bit difficult. And we see even senior players going on tour for the first time and are hardly able to cope. So when these youngsters go over there and they were able to win a couple of games, we have to look at the bigger picture. We wanted them to win the series, yes, or even to draw the series, but we have to be realistic. You understand? No, it's not that I'm making excuses for them, but if we are looking at the thing that deeply, we have to be realistic and we have to look at all possible factors. Now, a couple of good performances actually came. We had a couple of good performances. And, these players, we have to make sure that we capitalize on them. And when I say capitalize, make sure that they don't slip through the cracks. So as we go through this video, I'm just going to be zooming in on a couple of the things that we definitely need to get right in order to make sure that these players transition over to senior cricket, as we would want. No, we want all the players to move on to international cricket, That is what we would want. But the reality is not all of these players will be able to move on to the next level. So, the 2 or 3 or 4 players that we are able to really hold on to, especially batsmen, and rope them into the senior setup, that would be good. That would definitely be good, my viewers and subscribers. If we're able to identify 2 or 3 that can come over and, just start filling the gap and start touring. You understand? I was having a conversation on one of the video with one of the subscribers, where we're saying that if these players are able to really get an opportunity to tour, from time to time, missing out a 1 or 2 regional game, might not be too much of a big factor if they are touring with the team at 18, 19, because they're going to be expected to perform in net sessions. They are going to be expected to maybe fill in warm-up games and things. And that's a whole different level of preparation when it comes on to international cricket and regional cricket. Now, Teddy Bishop, he is one of them that really looked good with bat in hand. So we have to make sure that we capitalize on Teddy Bishop. I remember Samuel Badri and Darren Ganga and I think Ian Bishop, they were talking about him even before the tournament began, saying that he's somebody that they are definitely hoping will come through, and he didn't do too badly at all. He wasn't too bad. He got a big century. I think it was I don't remember which one of the games, but it was actually 133 that he got. So very, very good to be able to go over there and get a century, and not just get a 101 or 102, but a nice century, 133. You understand? So we are indeed happy for him. And next player that didn't look too bad again was Matthew. I think his name is Matthew Endo or something like that. He looked the part as a player also. You understand? Left-handed opening batsman. In one of the game, he top scored with, I think it was about 80, and he really looked the part. And I think he had about two or so half centuries. Yeah, man, he had about 2 or 3 half centuries, and he's one of the players that we need to really zoom in on. There are a couple other players that got into the 20s and 30s that showed some amount of promise. You understand, but they just weren't able to kick on. Now, where the bowling is concerned, a few of them stood out. You know, a 17-year-old Singh, he played a couple of games and didn't look too bad at all. In one particular game, he actually played, I think it was the last game, he got 4 for 51 off his 10 overs to help us. You know, so it's very important that we really keep these guys under our wings. Now, as I was saying, the big question is, though, my viewers and subscribers, what will CWI Cricket West Indies do to make sure that we don't lose out on these players in the next 2 to 3 years? You understand? That is the important thing, you know, the next 2 to 3 years, what will happen with these players? Because, you know, we often talk about transition period when it comes on to a player being 17, 18, 19, you know, moving away from high school and moving away from, you know, semi-professional cricket to professional and international cricket. How do we go about making sure that these players do not slip through the cracks? You understand? These couple of players that I just identified, they are not the only ones, you know, but they actually stood out in a couple of the games. So we are hoping that these players will be roped in. And if we should look at, you know, say for example, at Jaden Seals, I think we really got it spot on when it comes on to Jaden Seals, because coming out of that, I think it was that Under 19 World Cup. You know, we didn't have any regional cricket because of the Big C in 2020 basically, right? And the question would have been, you know, were the selectors going to leave him out for another 2 or so years until he's able to get some first class cricket, or do they rope him in? I think he would have played maybe 1 or 2 games if my memory serves me right. You know, but I think the correct decision was reached. You know, they found that the youngster had good enough pace and he was able to bowl a good line and a good length. He's not the quickest in the world, but when it comes on to his line and length, he seems to be really disciplined. You know, he played a couple of games in the CPL just now, but I'm not even too concerned about that. You know, going forward, I want him to continue to develop into a good test bowler, and eventually, you know, going into some 50 over cricket also. Because if we look at it, the best of the best don't necessarily have to play T20. You know, I mean, that is where the money is at. And once a player is playing cricket, they are going to want to play T20 cricket to get some of that money. You understand? But if we are looking at it where West Indies cricket is concerned, this young man needs to just continue to develop the right way in order to continue, you know, to grow. Because Test cricket and ODI cricket is really what, you know, counts when it comes on to international cricket, and if you want to build a legacy. But funny enough, not a lot of these players these days are too worried about legacy. A lot of them are just worried about, you know, making the cash to support themselves and their family. And at the end of the day, we can't even too knock them when it comes on to that, because, you know, it's a profession. You understand? Think about your job. And think, if you are just asked to do the job because of love and you're not getting paid, how would you go about that? You understand? I know that we love our cricket and we want this and we want that, but let us put ourselves in his shoes for a minute. Would we go to work free? I am certain that if I put myself in their shoes, you know, my government can't ask me to teach any class for free, you know, Bridget. No matter how you love the job. So we have to think about those things. But when it comes on to these youngsters, my viewers and subscribers, these that coming out of the Under 19 Rising Stars, I think that's what they are called. We want Cricket West Indies to get it right and to make sure that we don't lose out on these top talents. If we get 2 or 3 quality batsmen coming out, then we would be able to say yes. If we look at the last time we had a couple of quality batsmen coming out, we would be looking at the likes of Nicholas Pooran and Shemran Hetmeyer. And up to this day, those two guys are not yet settled into ODI and Test cricket fully. You understand? So it's a bit funny asking that the players be transitioned, but when they are transitioned into the setup, will they be able to settle down and get games? Those are a couple of things that we need to think about. Gonna leave this one right here for now. Sports to the bone, keeping you informed. Please remember to like, share, leave us a comment. If you have not yet subscribed, please go right ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'm out.